I don't know if you watched the Oscars last week. Adele Dazeem. No, seriously, fuck that shit. But Ellen DeGeneres, in her opening monologue, she said it. I mean, she told a joke that I thought was only funny on the basis of race, and she said this. So there's two scenarios tonight. Either 12 Years a Slave wins the Oscar for Best Picture, or scenario number two, you're all racist. And so when she told a joke and I heard people laughing, I thought to myself, would this joke have had worked or like received the laughs that it did if she had told it in a room full of black people instead of a room full of white, prestigious Anglo people? And even if you did find the joke funny, you have to acknowledge that at one point, like you're laughing about something that is completely race-based. It's like there's no way you laugh at that shit and your brain doesn't process the race factor. I'm also taking a culturally grounded social work class, and in the class we were introduced to the idea of white privilege. Now, white privilege is basically the tendency of politicians, people in power, CEOs, people with money, and even maybe even historians to a certain extent, to forget or to pretend that racism is not a problem in the United States. Usually in the political sphere, we see like politicians talking about issues of abortion, issues of gay marriage, deciding whether or not the U.S. should invade a foreign country or not, or the economy. But we don't see public figures or politicians talk about issues of racism and discrimination based on race, because to them, and given their economic status or their class, their position in the social ladder, it's convenient for them to pretend that that's a thing of the past. Even though some of you might be encountering acts of racism constantly, on a day-to-day basis even. And that also has to do with the fact that, if you have enough money, you tend to forget about shit because, you become part of the elite. So even if you're in the minority, if you're black, Mexican, gay, Asian, whatever, if you have enough money, it doesn't matter. Or it doesn't matter as much. Now let's talk about Naruto for a bit. So Killer Bee got the 8 tails extracted from him, right? Okay? So he technically should be in the same dire, circumstances as Sasuke and Naruto. But we haven't seen him. And to be honest, I read the comment sections in my videos, and it's not like a majority of fans are very, very, concerned about what happened to Killer Bee. Why is that? Like, flat out, why do you think there's not a lot of concern for Killer Bee? Even if he is okay, whether or not he's okay is kind of irrelevant for the point that I'm trying to make, okay? So just assume that the fact of the matter is we don't know. That's point blank, we don't know. So even if you think that he's a secondary character and he's a little bit less important than Naruto and Sasuke, okay, then I would invite you to do this, switch the characters up a bit. Pretend that Killer Bee is not Killer Bee, that maybe Ino was a Jinchuriki, maybe Rock Lee was a Jinchuriki, or if Neji was alive, maybe Neji would have been the Jinchuriki. Would you have felt the same way? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't like the start of Naruto Shippuden revolve around didn't we have an arc that was just based on trying to prevent Gaara from dying, from getting the Chibi extracted from him? And I'm not trying to point fingers here, I'm just trying to get... Look, the point of this video is to get you thinking about these things that you would normally... I normally don't think about these things. That's until I took the class, and I'm like, holy shit, that's when I started noticing all these things. So if I can get you to think about these things, then my job is done. So another question would be, how much does race influence character likability or popularity? Because, and this goes back to people saying that they don't read One Piece or they don't like One Piece because of the art. One Piece, if you think about it, is one of the most race-specific, stories, in terms of manga that is out there right now. We have different races, we have Dontatas, we have giants, we have mermaids, and even Oda has stated that some of his characters are just portraits of real-life people and or actors, such as the admirals. So when people say, oh, I don't read One Piece or I don't like it because of the art, what is it that you're trying to say? Another thing that I found very interesting is that even though this product, like anime and manga, is coming from Japan, and it's global, like it's spread globally, like I kind of find that sometimes the Japanese tend to downplay their own features for the sake of complying to the Anglo aesthetic. And when they do use their features, it's kind of seen as kind of like not the norm. You have main characters such as Sailor Moon, Naruto, Edward Elric, who you know, just are obvious depictions of Anglos. And then even if you don't have main characters that are Anglo, you know, most of these characters have pale skin, to the point where it's like, even though they don't look, you know, they don't have blonde hair or have bright eyes, your mind doesn't necessarily register them as Asian unless it's specifically stated. Like Mikasa from Attack on Titan, okay? Like, the only reason I know that Mikasa is Asian, or that she's the depiction of an Asian person, is because that was stated in the show. So if that had not been stated, I would have just gone and assumed that she was white, like flat out. And it's something that, I think it's something that we don't talk about because maybe we don't feel comfortable talking about it. But the fact of the matter is, the same is not true for other characters. Yoruichi, even though I don't read Bleach, is, in my opinion, one of the best female characters in the big three. I don't know if Kubo did something with her character later on to, like, you know, fuck it up, but the part of Bleach that I watched, like, she's definitely one of the best female characters that I've read. But with that said, you don't really need, you know, a statement about her race, because your brain sort of just automatically gives it to you. And I kind of wonder, why is that? Why is it that our brains are wired to immediately pick up on these very superficial things? I think it has to do a lot with history of colonization, and, you know, the white man and the Europeans coming here and just doing whatever the fuck they wanted with the people that were already here and the land that was already here. Second of all, society. Third of all, culture, and finally, the media. And the media is intertwined with culture and society. So I really do think that a lot of it has to do with Hollywood. I'll give you another example, right? Frozen won for Best Animated Feature last Sunday at the Oscars. And I'll be the first to tell you, I don't fucking hate the movie. At the same time, I think that you could argue that Frozen is kind of a movie that glamorizes and sensationalizes and even just celebrates whiteness, both figuratively and literally. Now, just for comparison's sake, let's look at the box office. Let's see how much money this movie made. So, Frozen is the number 5, you know, best grossing Disney movie of all time, under Iron Man 3. So you got Iron Man 3 and then Frozen. Frozen made over $389 million. Now let's compare it with something like, I mean, just because of the topic of the video, let's compare it with The Princess and the Frog. So The Princess and the Frog is at number 81, and it made a little bit over 100 million. Now, in case you're wondering, I just looked up the worldwide box office, and this is worldwide. Frozen made over $1 billion. The Princess and the Frog made, I just read the number, it's about 267 million. Why do you think that is? Now, I realize that these kind of questions might be uncomfortable for some of you, but I feel I have to talk about these things, because if I don't, then a lot of you guys are just going to pretend like these things don't exist. But it is a reality. It's just that we don't acknowledge it because it's more convenient to just, fuck that shit, you know. Let me go about my day. Just one final example. So my sister's birthday is coming up, and so I thought about, well, what should I get her, you know? And then, because I know she likes Frozen, her name is Anna, just like the character in the movie, so I thought to myself, maybe I should just, out of curiosity, let's just see how much these dolls are going for. So I go to eBay, and this is what I found. $1,600. Look at this crap. Are you serious? There is somebody who is willing to pay $1,600 for 2 dolls. For 2 dolls, okay? And the guy who's selling this item, he's like, well, if you want to buy it automatically, all you have to do is pay me 3,000 bucks. And if you see, like, down there it says like 47 watchers, which means that there's about 47 people who are willing to outbid the $1,600 guy. So in a nutshell, this is what's wrong with America. in all honesty. You have any idea like how many children in third world countries you can feed for $1,600? More than 1. I'm like, screw that crap, alright? Instead of an Elsa doll, I'll get you an Aokiji figure. The guys at Collecticon, they've been trying to contact me. They're very nice. I'll leave the link to their website in the description so you can check it out. They sell figures. So this is their website right here. And before you ask, no, they're not paying me to do this shit. They've just been trying to contact me in the past, so I figured I'd, you know, just sort of get back to them in this way. Look at this. I wanted the Aokiji figure, but as you can tell, it's completely sold out.
I mean, look at the detail in this. Just completely amazing. The Rebecca one is new. I hadn't seen that one. Holy shit, look at that. Look at those hips. I mean, I'm not a fan of Rebecca, but damn. Like, even I would get this shit. Just for the fan service. The Law one is also very cool. You need to pre-order that. Look at it, the detail in his hat and his, the texture in his clothes.
They tried contacting me in the past so that I could do figure reviews, but unfortunately I don't have time to do figure reviews. So this is kind of like my way of making up for that. So yeah, go check them out if you have time and money, and you wanna you want some quality POPs like Portrait of Pirate One Piece figures. Yeah, go check them out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this video made you think about things that you normally don't think about. Comment, like the video if you did, and subscribe to my channel for more thought-provoking discussions, hopefully, and anime reviews. Catch you later.